Okay, so I'll just go to the line on this to finish this. One makes little or no effort. One doubts one's own intent and falls behind. Difficulties at the beginning. Extra effort will be needed. Perseverance furthers. Concerned about resources, one holds back and does not compete. One's influence is diminished. So this is inappropriate receptivity, yielding at the wrong time. So these are the themes that I Ching is giving. But when you're applying this to in case to the sun, to his confidence, you can see the problem that has to be overcome, to not let the negative come in, to make the more positive come in, to not get guilty about this, and to keep clear. So this is how the advice of the I Ching works. Now I have all the other ones. I'm not gonna, it's too time consuming. I'm not gonna read his whole, the Wilhelm version of it. This is the piece. So I just had it in here. The second, and piece, bearing with the uncultured in gentleness, fording the river with resolution, not neglecting what is distant, not regarding one's companions. Thus one may manage to walk in the middle. So but sometimes it's easier to take these extreme images, for me, from the Chinese side and follow through and see what they're saying. Now I've kind of gone on another level beyond that, but this it's good to work with both systems to get a sense of it. Okay, so in the corners of the mouth it says, perseverance brings good fortune, pay heed to providing nourishment, and to what a man seeks to fill his own mouth with. This is just funny because I always see, I can hear that and I keep seeing him with a cigar in his mouth. So the image is providing nourishment. The superior man is careful of his words and temperate in his eating and his drinking. So those are simple words that were passed on in Chinese, and the rest were all people's interpretation, Wilhelm's interpretation of what these mean. So they're useful because it helps to explain the metaphor. Turning to the summit for nourishment, deviating from the path. To seek nourishment from the hill, continuing to do this brings misfortune. So you usually have to take care of yourself and not get it so where your needs are so noticed by others. So okay, let's just look at this standstill creation. Instead of looking at all the interpretations, standstill, evil people do not further the perseverance of the superior man. The great departs to small approaches. So this is the light was greater, the darkness is increasing. So it's more just you're having to be smaller. You can't just stand out like an eagle. You have to try and fit in, but he's the Taurus. Heaven and earth do not unite, the image of standstill. Thus the superior man falls back on his inner worth in order to escape the difficulties. He does not permit himself to be honored with revenue, pulls into himself. This is the theme. And when a ribbon grass is pulled out, the sod comes with it, each according to his kind. Perseverance brings good fortune and success. There's a whole logic around each one to go into. I'm not gonna, we're already over our time, but this puts his chart, his hexagram out. So his sun is in the 7th house. If you look at the Great Ascension chart, it's actually not horizon either. It's also in the 6th house, not exactly above the horizon. It's not above the horizon yet. So the, okay, this is just going through the Sigmund Freud's chart on the computer printout. Explain it and how they, and the totals. So let's see. Sometimes his totals, the maximums were treading, conduct, and peace, and enthusiasm. The minimums were in the wanderer and small attaining power. So he had 3 maximums, 2 minimums. The minimums had 3 times the hexagram was actually accentuated. The maximums had 14 times. So like there's a big distinction how much each gets accentuated from the chart. What are we doing for time? Okay, 10 more minutes. I'm going to take 10 more minutes because I want to finish with Donald Trump's. But this is showing the chart. So this is the information. Like, most people don't know you can go to this depth with a horoscope. You can find that this depth of information that make it useful. It's beyond just So it becomes a study guide. It becomes something you have to work with for a long time to keep working with to tune in, but it can be done. So you're not going to necessarily do it with everyone, but if you have a special autistic kid, or you have someone with special needs, or someone has a unique, and you want to see if there's a special genius behind someone, wow, this takes you to a place where you can assess things. And even if you're doing someone's chart and they're told they're going to die in 6 months, you look at the chart, it's getting worse for the next 6 or 7 months. And you think, well, they'll be lucky to make the 6 months. You don't go to the session and say, okay, kiss it goodbye, but you can't lie either. You have to change the level of interpreting and coming up to the level of metaphor and the implications of what to do and trying to explain it in the spiritual terms becomes very useful. And I found that when things were blocked on a worldly level, and you don't want to make that absolute judgment for someone and just make it depressing, you want to find a way of finding a teaching in there that's useful to the person. And by applying these things, it really allowed me to do that. It does still allow me to do that. So while I don't use it all the time in every chart, but when there's an opening and I have a chance to bring this in, I will use it and I will bring it in to give these teachings to somebody. So, okay, Donald Trump, let me just go back here a second, because we've done him, I didn't have his colored chart. His sun is in Gemini, 22 degrees, 56 minutes of Gemini. So 20 to 25 Gemini is 15 degrees of Gemini is the solstice, 15 to 20 is Cancer, 20 to 25 is Leo. So this is a Leo, Gemini with a Leo pennant. I know what I'm talking about. Can't you see it? He has the pride behind his knowledge, thinks he's the king of what he knows. We just see that right off the bat. So the main theme is Gemini. The special focus is Leo, and the intimate details Cancer. So even in his position, and he knows his family looks up to him because he gives them special benefits, special deals, keeps them working with him, gives things. So he keeps his personal side close to him, and they keep supporting him, and he keeps building up his confidence in everything he says. So on this one, I just did the printout, and I knew it would be some sort of time. So on the printout, we can see the hexagram. It's in the Gemini 43 line 2, and then the Leo Pentans 6 hexagram 6 line 1, and Cancer 50 line 4. So this is breakthrough, resoluteness, conflict, and the cauldron. So it has those 3 themes within it. So the hexagram of breakthrough, resoluteness. It's a lot to do more than one at a time, but we're just going to touch this, and I want to do it because it completes our study program. At least with the videos, you can do them in stages and come back and listen to it. But above, below, the breakthrough resoluteness, above heaven, lake above, heaven below. One enjoys power and gains attention. Does one only want to play, or does one have something special to say? I think if you asked that to Donald Trump, you'd get a very positive and strong reaction. Yeah, of course. The image, creative laughter, a happy mind overcomes. Positive initiative will succeed. Do not argue, do not follow. Break through doubts, prove yourself. What need is there for words? A smile will win the day. This is the happy Gemini. Breaking through, that happiness breaking through all the obstacles or the seeming oppression or worries of the world. The judgment, joy without, creativity within. Creative happiness, confident words will overwhelm any resistance. So he's confident of his words. Anyone who doubts it, they're just nobody. He's confident of his own words more than not. Doubts will fade away. Unimpeded progress. Laughter and good cheer. Victory is celebrated. One is inclined to be carried away in the enthusiasm of the moment. Could you say that for Donald Trump? His confidence tends to do that. If one uses too much force against a weaker element, or one ridicules the vulnerabilities of others, there will be long-term repercussions. The loyalty of others will be lost. Well, this is certainly a prime concern in his use of power, in his patronistic, or what's the word? Just within his own party, he just supports his own group of party people, not the others. So this idea of using too much force against a weaker element. One ridicules the vulnerabilities of others. He made fun of people who have handicaps. There will be long-term repercussions. The loyalty of others will be lost. So, okay, we'll go ahead. Okay, let's see. If you go to the lines, what's missing? What did I do? I believe that was the image. Yeah, judgment. The image, judgment. Yeah. Okay, so when we go to the individual line, this one is in. One has a good attitude and adds force to momentum. Perhaps one should pause, but one does not. Second line with the theme of conflict inside. Pushing forward, one will run into conflict. There will be inconvenience and criticism. Persevere in what is right. So if he thinks something's right, he'll persevere regardless of the criticism or the other things around it. He's not going to be the adaptable person around that. And that's how he functions. You really see that. One is assertive and assumes leadership. One speaks too loudly. Others are not considered. One acts too quickly. Mistakes are likely. So these are the three themes that are in this 1 degree within the hexagram. And it implies inappropriate action, firmness at the wrong time. There's no holding together. He's just firm, and his timing is incredibly difficult. Just responds in his way to just, but this is almost his signature. That's why I wanted to do this, because it stands out so clearly. Inside that one theme of, so you have this theme for the line of the hexagram. So inside, one assumes leadership, speaks too loudly. Others are not considered. One acts too quickly. Mistakes are likely. Inside this theme, adds force to momentum. One should pause, but one does not. Seeing all this theme, the theme that elaborates that is conflict. So because of that, he makes his own conflict. And conflict is that inner thing, is that special focus. So in conflict, heaven above and the abyss below. Heaven moves up, the abyss moves down. Creative without, critical within. If one puts out criticism, one will meet with strong resistance. It is important to do what must be done, and also to keep one's doubts to oneself. Well, he totally lives it. Like for him, he lives that totally. Looking on the outside, not everybody agrees, but that doubt or that criticism, he just goes on with his positive and tries to leave it out, because why accentuate? It's only going to get worse. Do not underestimate obstacles. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. In overcoming danger, guidance is needed. If no one listens, misfortune comes. A leader must win the hearts of people to succeed. Indiscriminate actions will bring humiliation and remorse. The true leader walks last. So you see some of it, and you see the weaknesses in his presentation around that. But certainly he thinks he knows he's not overcoming that. He's doing what has to be done. He's right on track. He's living up to the degree of his son. But with it, you can see the blind spots of what he's underestimating. He's underestimating the obstacles by not thinking about them. And in his position of power, that's wrong. Strength without, weakness within. Confidence without, doubt within. Appearances can be deceiving. Love is not what one thinks it is. Pride and arrogance will precipitate conflict. One's position is secure, but one is struggling within. One will have trouble living up to expectations. It is the problems at home that weigh heavily on one's heart. To be sparing of words is wise. So wisdom is not what someone would offer Trump. Confidence in his words, yes, wisdom. He's not sparing of words. He's running over with words. And they have words that often hurt other people. So let's see.